Well, hot dog.
What's going on, everybody? Well, I have been wanting to do a review series of some of my favorite directors since I've started this channel, and I figured now's the right time to dive in, and all signs are pointing to starting with Wes Craven. With Scream 7 coming out on its way, I will be doing a review series for the Scream movies, so that's a chunk of the 4 right out of the way. So I figured might as well just continue the trend from there. I'm planning on doing about 2 to 3, maybe towards the end of it, 4 reviews of his movies a month. And then probably just do a really big ranking video around his birthday. And might as well just get a head start on the whole thing, so we are kicking it off today with a review of the movie Cursed from 2005. The reteaming of Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson after the massive success of the Scream franchise. This tells the story of a pair of siblings who get cursed by the mark of the beast after getting attacked by a werewolf during a car accident in the Hollywood Hills. But that's not always what the original plot was, so it's nice to see, I guess, that the production of this movie lived up to its title. Because this movie is just one of many examples in Wes Craven's career where he got completely fucked over by studio interference. He's even gone on record saying that this is not the movie that it should have been. By the accounts of everyone involved, they were just completely screwed over by the Weinsteins constantly meddling and everything. They wanted to make what could have been an all-time great werewolf movie into a more formulaic, by-the-numbers, mid-2000s horror movie that was geared more towards a younger audience. It's no little secret that Wes was forced to reshoot pretty much the entire movie after having already filmed and finished at least 90% of it. All they had left to do was the ending. And the studio decided to get involved and force him to not only reshoot and recut the entire movie, which led to... yeah, a big day for you. Which led to so many notable names just being left off that were originally a part of this movie, from like Skeet Ulrich, who was originally one of the main characters, Omar Epps, Mandy Moore, James Brolin. You even had Nancy of Elm Street Hall of Fame, Heather Langenkamp, in this. This was originally about 3 strangers played by Christina Ricci, Jesse Eisenberg, and Skeet Ulrich, who get into a car accident in the Hollywood Hills. Kind of the same setup as the theatrical cut that we got, I'm assuming. Obviously, I have never seen the director's cut, so I don't know exactly how it plays out. But instead of Jesse Eisenberg and Christina Ricci being brother and sister, they were complete strangers. And when they recut and reshot, that aspect was changed and they were just made to be siblings. It was originally meant to be a much more violent, rated R, subversive twist on the werewolf genre, which I would have no problem believing that Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson together couldn't have pulled that off if they would have just been left to do their thing. This is just one of those movies that I would just die to see the original director's cut, the original vision from the creative team and everyone involved, especially the original effects. I cannot put into words. I just really want to see that. Release the Craven cut. But despite a lot of the flaws that this movie has in its current state, it's still a movie that I have at least an enjoyably decent time with. Obviously, it's not the greatest. Definitely not near the level that it could or should have been. But it's a passable time killer. This is just something I wish I could have seen the better version of. I actually think a documentary behind the production of this movie would be more interesting than the theatrical version of this movie that we got. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe if you like the video. It definitely helps out the video and the channel as well. And if you want to see more videos like this, I'm trying to slowly add a bit more production value every time. And with that out of the way, let's get right into it with the upside. And right off the bat, I love werewolf movies. Even bad ones, I usually have a at least decently moderate time with. Besides Wolfman, I cannot put into words how much I am still disappointed by that movie. I can still find enjoyment out of the lesser quality ones, and this is definitely one of the lesser quality ones, but it's still one that I still find fairly entertaining and enjoyable. It's passable fun. It's got a clever edge to it. It's got some decent jokes at times, although some of the laughs I'm not sure are supposed to be entirely intentional, but they're still there. It's got a great cast who certainly try with their performances. You got Christina Ricci, who's always great. I've always been a big fan of her. This is very early on in Jesse Eisenberg's career, and he still has a ways to go, but he does pretty well as the shy, nerdy high schooler who starts to grow confidence because of this affliction. Judy Greer is a lot of fun as this cantankerous, jealous bitch. Like, I think she excels in that role. She does really well here. Joshua Jackson is always great. Like Christina Ricci, I've been a big fan of him since I was a kid. Still like him here. I do wish there was a bit more Michael Rosenbaum here. He's always been more of an underrated favorite of mine, and he's in it for maybe a total of 2 minutes. That might be stretching it a bit. It's very, very limited. Despite the studio interference, I think it's still a very well-directed movie, especially for a movie that's kind of so cobbled together. Wes Craven still has a lot of skill and style on display here. He's never been one who lacks the talent. And this has got some really fun sequences, too. I like the wrestling match where Jimmy finally stands up to his bully. I like the stalking through the parking lot garage. I thought that was well done. And I really like the setting and the ambiance of this, like, horror art show for the finale of the movie. And now onto the mixed, and my main one is this movie has a lot of interesting ideas and an intriguing setup, and it just feels like the execution of it doesn't match what the potential of it could be. I think this one's just so frustrating because it feels like some of the times, like you were right there, you were this close to the finish line, and you stumbled and you tripped and you blew it at the last second. Now, I don't know what the original version of this movie looked like. Unfortunately, I wish I did. But there is just a ton of different directions to go with this storyline and the setting and the plot and the concept. And I don't think it explores any of those options fully enough or interesting enough. Now on to the downside, and the biggest one for me is the look of the werewolf. It's not the worst, but when you realize that they had originally hired Rick Baker, who masterfully did the effects in American Werewolf in London, and they hired him to do this, and then after the original film was 90% completed, the Weinstein said no, he decided not to come back. So they hired K&B Effects to come in and go over everything and do the effects for them for this movie. And that sounds really interesting too. And then the Weinsteins didn't like that either, so they decided to go ahead and put fucking CGI over everything, and it looks awful. Just the effects in general look cheesy and dated. Both the look of the werewolf and the kills and the gore, which were severely neutered down to make this a PG-13 movie, but even the unrated version that you can look at on the physical release it doesn't really add anything. It's just not well done. To be expected, the pacing of this movie is not very good with a movie that was hack and slashed together by studio meddling. It's not a surprise that it turned out this way. It starts off kind of slow in the beginning and then slowly starts picking up and building through the middle just to kind of peter out at the end again. Speaking of the end falls completely flat here with the ultra-predictable reveals, the lame and generic motivations. Even the final kill they do with Joshua Jackson just doesn't look good, and it doesn't really end the movie on some kind of victory note or anything. It's been noted before that the Weinsteins wanted them to go back over this movie and make it more like a Scream movie, and they just completely missed the mark with the quality aspect. Going along with the pacing is the editing, which is also to be expected with a movie with this kind of backstory, that it feels very muddled and thrown together. This adds absolutely nothing new to the werewolf subgenre, It's packed full of cliches and caricatures, especially Milo Ventimiglia. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, the dude from Heroes. His character as the bully of Jesse Eisenberg's character, who just out of nowhere becomes his friend because, like, oh, hey, dude, I'm gay, so we're fucking best friends now. What? You can't really blame Wes Craven for this because his movies are usually so wild with out there ideas that just swing for the fences, but he was just sabotaged with this movie, and it's passable but not memorable in the slightest. So the bottom line is, this is a typical and fine mid-2000s creature feature horror flick until you realize what it originally was supposed to be, with the talent involved of Wes Craven, Kevin Williamson, Rick Baker doing the effects, the talent on screen with the cast. Now, I loved this movie a lot as a kid. Nowadays, it's fairly decent. It's a passable time, but has not aged nearly that great. It's just one of those movies that I would give anything to see the original vision of this. I think it would probably be one of my all-time favorites. As is, it's pretty okay. I'd go a 2 3/4 star out of 5. Well, that's it for this time. Go down to the comments below and let me know what your thoughts are on the movie Cursed. Try and write a petition to whoever owns the rights to this movie, get them to release the Craven cut. Please, I want to see it. Meanwhile, we will continue the Wes Craven series in a couple of weeks with another review of one of his movies. But before then, I do have a couple other videos and ideas that I'll have coming out. Until next time, thank you for watching. See ya. Stay safe.